magazines.
Magazines, and we stopped with I said Playboy, you said Cucina Italiana.
Yeah.
Both collectible. What I wanted to talk about is I collect magazines that have collector value.
I see.
So that's my big concern. In other words, it could be a hot rod magazine. I'm personally not interested, but if I find it, and I know that that's a $20 issue.
So it's the collectability that drives the interest,
Yes,
less the contents of the magazine.
Exactly.
I see.
Yes.
Yeah.
Specifically for that only, not so much in other categories.
Right.
Opera, of course. Leslie having an enormous career of 22 years all over the world. Prior to meeting Leslie, I grew up with a father who was a real aficionado of opera, so we heard a lot of it as a child. My sister and I. Classical music, again, I was listening to classical music as a freshman in high school, and that's my own interest. I found that, and I decided I like classical music very much.
Yeah.
So that's been an interest that has led to the records. And I have a very large collection.
I'd like to talk to you about that in particular at one point too.
Sure.
Classical music specifically.
Okay.
Yeah.
And opera as well. Recordings.
Opera I'm much less knowledgeable about, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think we could have a really good discussion of classical music together.
Absolutely. Postcards, and I wanted to mention this in particular, and it's a good one to really concentrate on. I don't know if we talked about it, but 10 years ago I joined this San Francisco Postcard Club, and they're people who are experts in their field. For example, you might be a postcard collector, and you collect Vienna, turn of the century.
Yeah.
This guy over here wants anything to do with trains from the Southern Pacific line. So you get really specific and really knowledgeable in your area. So weekly, we gather together about 40 people, male, female, old, young, and you spout stories and bring photos, or bring your actual postcards. Some are valuable, some are sold for a couple of $100, some simply $1 or $2. So I've started that, and I really enjoy it. That's part of the interest that I have in European history. I can get tremendous postcards from Paris, and from Italy, and Austria that showcase classical musicians, showcase opera, ways of life, customs, costuming. So I was going to turn you guys onto that. Get you some cards to get started.
Very cool.
And then find out what your interest might be.
Yeah.
And see if
That's
It's
exciting.
like trading cards, kind of.
Pardon?
It's like trading cards.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And then once you get hooked, you go to shows where there are dealers who come with 100,000 cards, all categorized. So you can go up and say, "Hey, John, what do you have with large dogs?" "Oh yeah, well here I have 100." So it would blow your mind. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. You would really love it.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah. Okay, moving right along.
Sure.
Pins and posters. Posters, particularly music posters of my tremendous 60s and 70s era of
Very cool.
San Francisco, Family Dog, Bill Graham, that sort of thing. I still look for those, and they've become a lot more pricey over the years because there are fewer and fewer of them, but highly collectible. And then pins and buttons like the ones I often wear,